Cool. So hello, Aimee. Welcome.
Hello, Lawrence.
Welcome to the Event Village podcast.
Thank you for having me.
This is quite an exciting one for me. I've been planning this for quite a while now and put a lot of thought into who the best guest would be, and we have landed on yourself.
Thank you.
So I think you are very much like our up and running customer. You're a mother. Mm-hmm. You have a very busy social life and you love to run. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, love probably is maybe a bit of an extreme term to use for me. I like running.
Yes.
And I started running last year because I signed up for the London Marathon.
Nice.
And I had to learn to love running because I got accepted and I had to
do it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll treat this then as a bit of a London Marathon debrief for yourself. I remember you saying last week you'd be quite keen to chat about it.
I've not actually debriefed at all, really, on the London Marathon.
And then we'll also talk a bit more about your content and a bit of how you live your life. So I think we'll start on your content, your Instagram account. How did you get into it?
So it was the end of 2018. I had 3 young children at the time. They were 4, 1 and a few months old, and I just felt a bit lost. I was a stay-at-home mum. I had to give up work because we couldn't afford childcare, and it just made sense that I would be obviously at home with the kids while my husband was out working. So stayed home, thought that'd be amazing, but I found it quite lonely. A lot of my friends were, in fact, a lot of my friends still don't have kids, so I was alone a lot of the time with the kids, and my mum always said, go to like play groups and meet other mums, and I was like, but I don't need to meet other people. I've got like good friends. I don't need to, and I don't want to meet other people. So I probably now, looking back, I wish that I'd went out more, maybe to different clubs and groups and things with kids, my own kids' ages, but I didn't. And instead I set up an Instagram and decided that I would just start sharing kind of life as a mum of 3 at home, and just really for just something for me. And I did start a mums club called the Social Mamas Club. So initially I started my whole like Instagram brand as the Social Mama.
You've changed your handle now, haven't you?
I've recently rebranded, yes, because we've entered a new era. But at the time I was a mum that liked to socialise, so it just made sense, the Social Mama. And then I started Social Mamas Club as a kind of way of bringing mums together away from the kids. It was more often than not evenings during the week, so usually easier to get the kids watched with partners, husbands at home. And it wasn't like a big long night out. It was just a couple of hours, mums getting together, and I really enjoyed organising these events. And I did that probably I hosted quite a few events, and then we went into lockdown. And obviously, like, you couldn't like go out and socialise and things. So that's when I really like put more into my social media, and I just became like obsessed with making content. And that's when my account really had soared.
So you're at 60,000 followers now?
I'm at 60 now, we've just hit 60 recently.
And so that's how long a time has that been, sorry?
What year are we in?
2026.
So about, I would say I probably properly started working on my Instagram just before COVID, so probably in the last 7 years.
Impressive.
I sat like 1,000, 2,000 for about a year or so, and then it was throughout COVID that everyone was on their phones, and I think that's when social media really boomed. So I never set out for it to be what it is now. It really was just a way of me connecting with other like-minded mums, and just for something that I could do, and I say do, but like just kind of meet like other mums similar to me and still be at home with the kids. But at that point, it wasn't really, Instagram wasn't at that point, there was no real way of making an income. It really is over, I would say, since COVID, like 2020, that it has become more of a way of anyone to make an income through social media. So it never started off as that. I never thought anything of that. It really was just for a bit of fun. And then over the years, it's like grown and it's progressed, and it's now become like I say full-time job, but it's my
social media is a full-time job.
Yeah, it is.
100%.
And I think people don't realise what goes actually into creating content. They see a 30-second, 60-second video and they don't realise all the behind the scenes kind of work. And even I explain to like my friends at points, they're like, oh, you've been on social media but you've not texted me back. I'm like, but that's my work. Like you can't just like not turn up for work. And whether or not it's paid work with like a partnership with a brand, my own content is work too, because without my own content, brands are not going to reach out to work with me. So despite looking like I'm always maybe on my phone on social media, it's work for me, and that's definitely over the years like changed my way of using. So I don't use social media like the normal person. I go on and I post, I'll engage with followers. I do not scroll, and I say I don't scroll, that's such a lie. I doom scroll at night quite often, but like that's my kind of way of downtime, just doom scroll. And it's not looking through like friends, or it's like For You page. So just like whatever the algorithm's giving me today.
You've got to be on it as well to get your inspiration. And,
that as well. Yeah.
You've got to look at what's happening out there.
So I definitely don't like, if I've not seen a friend for a while and they'll go, oh, like, so they know everything I've been up to because I've shared it, but I'm like, I don't know what you've been up to. Oh, did you not see that post? No, I'm really sorry.
And
but
is it just Instagram? Or are you on TikTok as well or anywhere else?
I'm on TikTok.
Yeah, different ball game TikTok, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel TikTok really intimidating, I think. It's so different to Instagram. Instagram's a lot more curated, whereas TikTok seems like just anything goes. Now, back in lockdown, I probably could have utilised it more and shared on there, but Instagram was just my thing. But whereas over the years, as my account's grown, I've changed in how much I share and what content I share. Obviously, my kids are getting older now, so before it was the carnage of like the 3 young kids. I've now got a 4th child, but it's so different now to when I first started. So TikTok now terrifies me. I've got it.
It's difficult. I use TikTok a bit more than I don't use Instagram much. I use it for the up and running account, which I'm on it relentlessly up and running. My personal TikTok, I'll just kind of pick up my phone and talk to the screen. And it's a bit more, I don't know, I almost prefer that. I'll like say a few words and then just post it and I can forget about it. Where Instagram, as you said, it's so much more curated. You've got to put a bit of depth into it, a bit of what you're thinking before just...
And I do think it's changing because the algorithm and Instagram is always changing. And it's definitely, I think, becoming a wee bit more like TikTok in terms of picking up the phone and just chatting instead of having this perfectly curated video that you've put so much time into looking really aesthetic. People don't relate to that. People don't connect as well to that anymore. It is just the organic, you've just picked your phone up and it's as if you're on a FaceTime to somebody. And people do connect better. So that's the way I used to be. I think I've struggled because over the years I've tried to learn to, well, I can't just pick up the phone and it needs to be perfect for Insta-perfect, Insta-worthy. But now it's changing again. So I'm trying to adapt to that as well. So TikTok is something I would maybe like to...
So are you finding you're kind of... see what you're making for Instagram? Are you just posting that straight into TikTok, or are you making something specific for your TikTok account?
When I remember, I'll share. I don't know how many times I've got. So on TikTok, I think I've got about 12,000 followers. But I don't know how many times I've said on TikTok, right, that's it, I'm going to start posting more. I'll post maybe for a week and then I'll forget.
It's difficult.
And I find I get really engrossed in like when you're on, I think it is For You page on TikTok, isn't it? It's not that on Instagram. I don't know. It's in newsfeed, but like the For You page, you'll scroll and it's so addictive because every next video you're like, oh, relate to that. Oh, relate. Oh, I like that. And I have I could count on one hand how many times I have been on TikTok to scroll and I've lost hours. And I've went, oh my goodness. And so that's another reason I think why I actually don't post on TikTok, because I think I would get too drawn in and spend too much time wasting scrolling. Whereas Instagram's a bit different because I'll look through the main feed and then I'll see different videos. I'll click on them. It's not a case of every video that you're clicking is...
TikTok's very, once it's... Instagram's almost like your page is like... It shows what you're doing, whereas TikTok's very much when you post, it's kind of gone. It's just very endless. And is it any long form stuff you do? Any YouTube, anything like that?
No.
Nah, would you like
I did start a YouTube channel again in lockdown number one. And I posted a couple of videos, but I find it hard work.
It's difficult. I'm looking into it. I have actually started piecing together my first YouTube video.
Brilliant.
It's going to. I already know it's going to be a slow burner. But
YouTube, I think, is good. So I don't really watch TV unless I'm watching something with my husband. But even at that, I struggle watching TV. I like to be sitting on my phone or whatever. YouTube, because there'll be people maybe that I follow on Instagram that have got a YouTube channel. Over the years, I actually really enjoy watching YouTube because it's more, I don't know, like...
specific to what exactly you're going to want to watch,
Yeah, totally. And I think there's so like, I used to be obsessed with Jamie Genevieve. I don't even know if she does our weekly vlogs anymore, but she would vlog every week and I'd love watching because I go, oh my goodness, like she's been there this week. I want to go there. And because she was local, it was more relatable and I could connect and I enjoyed watching. So filming and sharing, my sisters have always said you'd be really good at that, but I'm really lazy and I think it's the work. And also I get overwhelmed because I go, right, okay, well that's YouTube, but then I need to create different content for Instagram, whereas I think I quite like Instagram. I can create content, but then if I want to, I can share it on TikTok.
Yeah. So even shooting now, if I'm shooting for Instagram or TikTok, I've then got to shoot horizontal for YouTube. So I've even bought a new camera for it.
So I've got the DJI. It's brilliant. And actually, since buying that, I was like, oh, I could do YouTube actually because I could just flip the camera. But then I'm like, but does that mean that everything I'm filming I need to refilm so that it is that portrait landscape mode? Oh, too much work.
Yeah, I know.
I also think as well, maybe I'm wrong in saying this, but I think I spoke to my husband about this the other day. Because he watches YouTube a lot and it's all like gamers and things. And he'll go, oh my goodness, these people like have made so much money now or like created like businesses off the back of, we were talking about Jamie Genevieve. She has this global makeup brand now off the back of YouTube. Yeah. So the opportunities there are amazing. But my views were, but I could be totally wrong, that they started at the right time because but I don't know whether YouTube's, because I would say that, but you could say that about Instagram, but then there's so many people on Instagram that you'll look at their accounts. There's somebody I came across the other day, she's got nearly 500,000 followers. She only started her account about 8 months ago. Yeah, it's crazy. So is that the same as YouTube? I don't know. I think I've always thought, well, YouTube needs to be an OG.
No, I think YouTube's still going quite strong. There's like a lot of new content on it. Like all the stuff that I watch on YouTube is founders starting businesses, which are like, for example, the YouTubes that I watch are like Pure Sport, the CEO of Pure Sport, Dan, a guy called Ollie Marchon that owns a brand called Marchon. So yeah, they're definitely still there, I would say.
Yeah, but, I do think they're good for, like, for business owners. Yeah. YouTube is good because I imagine they share a lot behind the scenes. Exactly. And maybe share more than what they would on Instagram, TikTok, because, again, Instagram's probably more like promoting the brand as opposed to behind the scenes, whereas YouTube, you're getting more from it because, obviously, longer form videos, and they do shorts as well. So, actually, yeah,
oh well. Yeah. Right, possibly let's speak a bit about running.
Yes.
So, yes. Yeah. When did running first come into your content?
So running came into my content when I signed up for the London Marathon. Yes. But I didn't tell anyone just yet.
So was that just pure ballot entry?
No. So back in 2024, April 2024, I watched my brother-in-law on the telly, my sister's boyfriend, run the London Marathon with his brother in memory of his dad. And it was the first time I'd actually really watched it on TV and realised the scale of the London Marathon. And I always heard of it, but I was never into running, so didn't interest me. But obviously we were watching, supporting Ben. And I remember watching it and going, oh, I would love to do that. Yeah. I was so inspired by it and found it really emotional watching all the different people. I think I've always thought runners, you need to be super athletic. But actually watching the London Marathon, you could see so many different types of people. So at that point, I said out loud to family, oh, I would love to do that one day. And I think they all just went, oh, just another one of like these ideas. But
yeah.
I did say I wouldn't, not for fun, like I would love to do that for something meaningful and to raise money for charity. It just went over my head as much as it did my family. But then months later, it was probably about 8 months later, my mum was diagnosed with cancer. And we were all taken aback by this because it really was so out the blue. She hadn't really been unwell with symptoms. Now in hindsight, there were symptoms there, but not that you would have it was like common cold we thought she had. And when she was diagnosed, that spark lit in me, and initially it was, Mum's got a rare incurable cancer. So I had a spark in me, like, I want to raise money for charity to find a cure for my mum's cancer.
Absolutely.
Now, realising that there's so many incurable cancers out there, and actually what do I know about, like, biology or whatever it is to look into, like cures for cancer. And I thought in my head at that point, I want to do something for charity. Then we started going to a place called Maggie Centres, which there's Maggie Centres across the UK. They're across from the Beats in Glasgow. There's others in Scotland too, but the Maggie Centre across from the Beats, and my mum had been to before with friends. And we went with my mum one day and just had the most amazing conversation with one of the staff members who knew everything about my mum's cancer. My mum was due to get a stem cell transplant. She'd worked on the stem cell transplant ward, and I was just so taken in by how incredible Maggie's were and how they were a charity to support people going through cancer and their families, unlike any other. It wasn't a hospital environment.
So is this different to the Beatson?
So this is different to the Beatson, yeah. So it's across from the Beatson, it's on the grounds, but so the concept of Maggie's is they've got loads of trees and greenery around, and when you go into Maggie's, it's not like a hospital environment. It's not clinical feeling at all. It really feels very homely. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of hidden. The amount of people I've spoken to that over the last year that in Glasgow in particular have attended the Beatson for either their own treatment or family treatment, and they've never heard of Maggie's. They weren't aware that it was there.
Yeah, I wasn't aware it was there. That's why I'm asking you.
Well, my mum had found out about it through a friend that had cancer before, and I don't know how she found out, but obviously we then knew because my mum had already heard about it and visited. So it just, when you go in, there's different areas for going and sitting and chatting with either volunteers, staff, or just my mum and I would go. My sister, throughout my mum's treatment, my sister was doing her dissertation. She would go and study, and it's just a really calm, relaxing place. But there's organised groups as well, and classes for the people going through cancer, but again also their families. So like myself and my sisters, they support children as well whose maybe grandparents or parents going through. So anyway, with Maggie's, I just thought this charity is incredible, and there's not enough awareness out there for them, because again, the amount of people that said I've literally attended the Beatson across the road and had never heard of Maggie's. So I decided, right, I want to help them. I want to use my platform to help create awareness, because I was so taken aback with how incredible they were. And then I realised that they also had people that would run the London Marathon for them. So perfect. I think it was New Year's Eve, just after my mum had been diagnosed, and I announced to everyone, I'm going to run the London Marathon next year for Maggie's. And my mum was hysterical. Everyone was hysterical, but my mum especially. She literally was like tears streaming down her face from laughing at the thought of me running. Because I think at that point they went, oh, I thought that was just a flying comment. Yeah. Laughing. Laughing at the thought of me running.
Okay, yeah.
No, laughing at the idea of me running, never mind a marathon. So I said, no, I want to do it now. I'd had a few drinks. I think they probably thought, oh, she's talking nonsense again. And then I brought it up again. Again, my mum was hysterical. And I went, do you know what?
Yeah, this is happening.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this, and you're going to watch me. So my mum was in, she was in through having her treatment, and I ended up applying for London, I literally had never ran before. didn't have a clue what I was signing myself up to do. But I just thought, I can run a wee marathon. No bother. I'll raise money for charity. This will be, look at the vibes, nice, cool outfit, cool shoes.
Exactly.
And I signed up, didn't tell anyone but one of my best friends and my husband. And then it was maybe a month or so later, well, in between that, the day after, I went, right, I need to go out my first run. So I went out with one of my best friends, and she took me out, and she had an app on her phone that was similar to a couch to 5K. And this first run was run 30 seconds. I think it was 3 times.
Yeah.
I ran 30 seconds once, and I went, what if I sign myself up to? This is actually hard. This is hard. 30 seconds, I'm struggling to run. And she went, it's fine, we'll get there. So over the next kind of month or so, I went, right, well, I could probably, in fact, I'm saying I could probably be accepted for this. I actually hounded Maggie's.
Yeah.
I just had it in me, I want to do this for them, and there's no way that I'm not doing it. So I actually was maybe harassing them a little with
you got
emails.
to do that, though. Yeah.
I was emailing them. Obviously we were attending Maggie's as well, and I'd spoken to the staff I've applied, and I really, really, really hope that I get accepted, because I would love to do this for you. And lo and behold, I got accepted. And just before then, I had completed the couch to 5K. And I'd shared a bit of that online, but nobody obviously knew why. And I think at the end of my first 5K, I think I wrote on it on my the end of the reel or something, next up marathon or something, as a joke. Yeah. No, it's a joke, but kind of people thinking it's a joke. And then obviously I was accepted. So I, at that point, was excited, but I still had no idea the scale of what I was actually about to endure, in training wise. I was so naive, and I'm so glad that I was so naive, because see, if I was aware of the work that would have went into the training in particular, I would never have signed up. Because it was so hard, and I'm so glad that I did it. To be able to have achieved something, obviously, first off for Maggie's, I raised over £8,500 for them.
Wow.
And money aside, that awareness that I created for them as well through the journey, because most of my running vlogs, I would go, I'm running for Maggie's and Maggie's support family. So I was constantly sharing awareness for them, and the amount of messages I've had over the last couple of years, or not couple of years now, just short of that, from people saying thank you, because I had no idea, and I've since been, or people saying I wish that I'd known of this.
About it, 100%.
So the awareness and the money raised for them was just incredible. And had I been aware of how difficult it would have been, I wouldn't have signed up to it, but I wouldn't have then have raised so much money and awareness, maybe in another way.
Yeah.
But I feel like that was the way that was meant to be.
Yeah, it's that's interesting. It's crazy how big a marathon is, but at the same time, it's pretty accessible. You did it.
Yeah.
But yeah, on your point of your mum being diagnosed, which I'm very sorry to hear about, how did that affect your training and your marathon in general? I've experienced secondhand someone going through a very similar situation, and they've turned into a bit of an athlete, let me tell you. But how did it basically fuel your training and your running?
Well, I'm certainly not an athlete. I'm certainly not. But initially, so my mum was going through, she had 6 months of chemotherapy and then a stem cell transplant. And I found out that I was accepted for London. She had, I can't remember the timescale, but she had just not long had her stem cell transplant. And I remember FaceTiming, so buzzing to tell her this. And she could barely, she was sat in a chair, the FaceTime was up, she could barely speak, she had nothing in her. And I think she also was probably quite speechless because...
Yeah, trying to laugh at you
what
again.
on earth, oh my goodness, okay, so she's actually doing this. And she also has, over the last year, felt really guilty and kind of apologised in a way for getting cancer. Because had she not got cancer, I would have signed up for something else. Yeah. It just, I'm so believe that everything happens for a reason. So found out I was accepted while my mum was still in hospital. Because I had the 4 young children, and germs and things, we actually couldn't see my mum for about 3 months after, just in case she picked up anything. And then after then, we had to be really careful because really we had to meet outdoors, but it was verging on into winter and things. And we, like, training-wise for me, was very inconsistent initially. I signed up for the Great Scottish Run, which I think was the first weekend in October.
Yeah, always is,
yeah, so I signed up for that as part, it was a friend that said, why don't you do that as like just a bit of a short-term goal, and it'll give you a bit of a, like, an idea of the experience on race day. So I did that, and my mum did actually come and cheer me on. In fact, actually prior to that, my daughter and I had, the day my mum got out the hospital, actually, my daughter and I did a Swiftathon, it was called.
I've seen them. There's an Abathon as well, isn't
there?
Yeah,
so it was a Taylor Swift themed 5K that we did, and my mum surprised us at the very end.
Amazing.
She'd just come out of hospital and we didn't think she'd be there. She was in her wheelchair at the end holding a sign, and it was for my daughter, like, go Callie go. And that to me was, I just remember feeling, first of all, I was in shock, like, what on earth, mum? You should not be here, because it was crowded, germs and things. But it reminded me, like, this is why, obviously Taylor Swift themed 5K was for a bit of fun, but me doing this wasn't for fun. So my mum, I think throughout the time that she was recovering from the stem cell, I wasn't really seeing her, so I was being able to kind of get out running. Yeah. I initially would go out running with friends because I struggle getting out and doing something without having somebody giving me a nudge, like, especially when I find it hard. And at that point, after running 5K, I realised, this is actually not easy. Like, I threw the term away, like, I'll run a wee marathon. And that became a bit of a joke throughout my training plan, because I signed up thinking literally I can run a wee marathon, and then realised, there's nothing wee about this. But then also, like, on the other hand, it's just running.
Yeah, exactly.
So actually, like, obviously running a marathon is huge, but also at the end of the day, you're just running. And when I compared it to what my mum had went through, my mum had sepsis a few times, and one of the times she nearly died. Don't know how she survived, to be honest, through it. And I would look at her and go, well, if she can go through it, that is hard. Like, that, what she's went through is hard. And mentally now as well, my mum knows her cancer's coming back. Imagine living, like, every day thinking, like, the cancer's coming back, but wait, like, I think that is hard. Yeah. Going out and running may feel hard, but it's not actually. So my training initially was all right, because I had friends supporting me. I had this half marathon, but after the half marathon, I really didn't enjoy the half marathon. I hated it.
The Glasgow one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
I hated every minute of it. I had one of my good friends, I've grown up with him, and he's very supportive and he's very athletic, but he signed up to do it with me just to encourage me, and I literally complained to him the whole way round. Yeah. And
it's a tough course, Glasgow as well.
Yeah, well, it was the initial, I think we were like 2K in, and I saw a hill and I went, I've not ever ran on hills. I only ran on like a flat level. There's a cycle path near our house, and I realised, I'm not prepared enough for this. So, and I had winged the training for the half marathon. So completed it, hated it, every minute of it. I thought, why have I signed up for London? Like, this is awful. Lost a lot of my confidence as well, because I didn't enjoy it. Yeah. And going into winter, I just lost all motivation. So, like, between my confidence, feeling like, you didn't enjoy it. I completed it, but I didn't enjoy it at all. And I thought, I need to do that on my own. And going into winter, rain, cold, I was like, I don't want to go out running. I'll start in January. Like, I'll start back again. And I barely really ran from the half marathon until the end of December, and that's when I was like, right, I need to start running again, because I've got this marathon that's going to creep up on us. So,
and when was it, sorry, you started, when did your fundraising start?
So fundraising, I'd started really, like, from the beginning. I shared my link, and I never actually, to be honest, I never had big plans of, like, fundraising events. I was going to do some running events, like, and just all sorts of things. But because I didn't realise the scale of training, and obviously having young kids. My husband as well, last year, he'd taken multiple seizures and he was off work.
Wow, okay.
Unable to drive. There was a lot of pressure, like, I say pressure on me, but there was a lot on me because I was trying to help with my mum and support my siblings and also support my dad as well, then support my husband who he was struggling because he'd completely lost all of his independence, being able to jump out in the car, go to work. So I was trying to manage all that, plus manage the 4 kids, plus manage the training, but also as well, in November I got my official diagnosis for my ADHD. And so there was a lot going on. And yeah, I have forgot the question now.
I've forgotten the question.
The question initially was
when did you start starting your fundraising?
Yeah, so I had all these plans for fundraising, but life was just there was a lot going on. So really, I just shared my link online, family, friends, and I'm so lucky. I think that's why as well, like, I'll 100% do more for Maggie's, and I've told them already, I want to organise. I love events, so I wanted to organise an event for them, but it was just too much. And when I realised how difficult training would be, I thought I need to, my main goal here is to cross the line, having raised the target, which was £3,000. And that was my main goal. Yeah. So fundraising events aside, I knew, I know I can raise £3,000. Did I believe that I would raise as much as I did? No, I did not, especially having not organised events. I'm so grateful for everyone, friends, family, followers, strangers online that would message me saying, I've just come across your page and I've saw your story, they've donated. They did not know who I was, and I don't even know some people. I think there was one woman that I looked and I went, oh, she doesn't even follow me, but she donated. And I just think how kind and generous of people. And obviously that was through documenting, I'm going from the couch to running a marathon. It obviously was a big deal, and people were so supportive. So yeah, the fundraising events I wanted to organise, but I think I just realised you need to focus on your training. Because what's the point in organising a fundraising event for you running the marathon and then you can complete the marathon because you've put more time into hosting a fun event as opposed to actually training?
So yeah, that's interesting. So a lot of your running motivation is obviously came from raising money. Is there anything you would say to anyone at home listening to this and that, how to take their first step into running if they don't have possibly fundraising behind them?
Yeah, so I mean, if they want to start, then I would say the hardest thing is just getting out on that first run. In fact, not even the first run, the hardest thing is stepping out the door.
Putting your trainers on.
Yeah, especially in Scotland with the weather as it is. I mean, obviously that I've not really been running much recently, and the weather I blame for it, but it is really, really hard. But if it's something that you want to do, I think just getting yourself out. Initially, I really enjoyed running with friends. Near the end of my training, when I was doing my long runs, I actually preferred it on my own. I preferred the personal kind of challenge and doing it myself. I also find that when I had friends with me, I just complain. Whereas when I was on my own, I had no one to complain to other than my phone and to share with everyone. But I would say for anyone that actually is thinking, I would really love to do that. And if anyone thinks, oh, I couldn't, anyone can run. The people that I saw on that course in the marathon, literally people with amputated legs. I don't want to sound offensive, but older people, older people that you'd look at, oh my goodness, that's so cute. They're running, but just
the diversity of everyone is insane.
Yeah, and nobody can say they can't run because we can all run. Unless you are physically, you are in a wheelchair because you physically.
We still get people in the wheelchairs doing it as well.
Exactly. So yeah, I think. Don't tell yourself that you can't do it because you can. But getting out the door is the hardest thing. So try and make fun of it. Not make fun of it, but make it into something fun and enjoyable. So meet up with a friend and say, do you know what? Let's go out and do this run and then we'll go for a coffee. Or let's go and treat yourself to a cake or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Have something at the end of it. But I do think initially starting, there's so many apps and things out there that are free to get yourself from couch to 5k, and I would say that was probably the hardest, was the jump from couch to 5k, because I really at that point was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And then once I reached 5K, I went, oh no, I actually can do this. Like I can, it's just I maybe don't always enjoy it. And the kind of kilometres, like going up to 10K felt easier. So yeah, I don't know, like going out with friends definitely helped me initially. I think having a plan as well.
Yeah.
Or even having a race to sign up for something to work towards. So at the moment, that's a lie. At the moment, I do have another race. I've got the Great Scottish Run again.
Yeah.
In my head, I'm like, that's a wee while away. But I think having something closer to work towards, to like, if you're just doing it for yourself, like people are so easy to quit on themselves. Whereas if you have something, you go, well, I have to do it because in that day, and tell people around you, say, on this day, I'm running this 10K or 5K, whatever, so that kind of helps keep you accountable as well.
And something also to do with your pals, exactly.
Yeah.
On your, you just touched on like meeting friends to go for a run then. How did your marathon training or just running in general, how did that affect your social life in a positive way and possibly a negative way as well?
Yeah, I would say so.
And your family life?
Yeah,
exactly.
It massively affected family life.
Okay.
And again, I think had I realised that and had my husband realised that, it would have been something we'd have put more thought into making the decision to actually like go for the marathon, because it was a lot. There was a lot of pressure on my husband to pick up at home. Like when I was at home after long runs, I was on the couch.
Yeah.
Like I struggled a lot as well with a lot of injuries. And I literally would have weeks where like different injuries. I've got a disjointed pelvis thing, so there was days after long runs I couldn't even stand because I was in so much pain. I had issues with feet, blisters that got infected where I couldn't even stand on my feet. So,
wow.
like honestly, like awful. We've erased that from our memory, to be honest, because it was they don't tell you about these things as well. Like I used to think running was glamorous. Like I'd look at all like,
you should see my toenails, let me tell you.
Oh well, I'm missing a few still.
Yeah.
Still months later. Like anyway. It definitely affected. My husband picked up more. Obviously he was at home off work having had his seizures, and thankfully his health, like it was a one-off like occasion, but because of that he was signed off work. He was at home more. He also had built holidays up, so he went back to work in January, and it was as of January that I was like, that's when I'm starting my kind of official training block. And so he took a day off a week between the first week in January to London to try and allow me to do my long runs midweek.
Wow, that's very kind.
Yeah, well, do you know, it is, but also said to him, had you not taken it, like the day a week off, you'd have lost your holidays, because his boss did say, I don't want you taking a month worth off or whatever it was. So it worked in both. But he was like, I'm so grateful that he took the days off for me to train. And it didn't always work out that on those days I would manage my long run because of injury or whatever. Yeah. But it definitely helped kind of free up our weekends as much as possible. I'm not a massive drinker, so I think there was like a couple of occasions, like weddings, that I'd have a few drinks, but nothing wild. So it didn't affect me in that sense. I really prioritise probably too much time with friends. So like my house might need cleaned, but I'm like, no, I want to go meet my friends for lunch or go. Like for me, time with friends and family is so important. So I didn't want to sacrifice that time as much as I could, like not. So yeah, really grateful. If it wasn't for my husband, it would have been a struggle. He was so supportive, really helped at home, like cooking, cleaning and everything, so that I could focus really on the training and recovering as well.
Amazing.
So
have you inspired any of your friends to become runners through your own training? So
yeah, I think I have. I definitely have. I think one of my friends actually did go and buy a pair of running shoes. Because she saw I got a new pair of trainers. She was like, oh, they're nice. I'm going to get myself some. But I actually asked her recently, have you been out running in them yet? I think she's been out once. But my sister, actually two of my sisters. So one of my sisters took up running when I was training, and she found love for it, and she's really good at it. So she continues to run. She's moved to Australia since, so she runs in Australia, which is lovely for her.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. But my other sister, she went out for a 5K recently with her boyfriend, and she struggled, but she did it. And she actually signed up for the marathon next year, and her words were, well, if Aimee can do it, so can I. So
just ballot entry this time.
Ballot entry. So she signed up, I think it was a couple of days before the marathon, and I get FOMO, so I signed up as well.
Yeah, you got to.
But I'm also, I'm not hoping, but I'm also presuming I will not get in because the ballot entry is like 1 in a million.
Yeah, I think
literally.
It was 1.3 million signed up. Yeah.
So, so my sister has been inspired to do the marathon. She's not really been out running, but if she gets accepted, then she will definitely get out. And I think just definitely last year during summer, see when the weather was nicer, like a lot of my friends were coming out with me, and they wouldn't have maybe have went out running if it wasn't for coming to support me. Obviously throughout winter and the weather being so rotten now, they've not maybe been out as much, but I've definitely got friends out there that have said that I have inspired them or encouraged them. Followers as well. I've had loads of followers over the last year, like saying, oh, because of you, I've signed up to do a marathon or half marathon or even a 5K, 10K. Like, there's been so many people that I think have been inspired through the journey, because I did share it really quite authentically. Like, I just shared the kind of highs and the lows of it. And I think it's made people go, all right, okay, well, if she can do it, I can do it as well, type
and
thing.
inspiring your children as well. I remember you brought your daughter along to a bunny run.
Yeah, which she loved. And she's a great wee runner. I had to tell her to slow down lots of times during the bunny run. But she doesn't go out running, obviously, herself, but she will come out running with me. Actually, at the Glasgow Running Festival. One of my sons, Jackson, he had really bad childhood asthma. I'm saying childhood, obviously he's still a child, he's 9, but it's not, he used to be hospitalised in the winter with it. And he really used to struggle even going out like long walks. And he did was it the 2? Yeah, he did it. Was it 2.5K or was it 2K?
2K and actually, I think it was a 2.5 and a 1.5.
I think it was 2.5, and he did it with me. Yeah. And we walked around it. But I was so proud of him, because he just, even going out walking, he'd be like, oh, my lungs, and he'd use that as an excuse. But actually, I think I helped inspire him to go, I can do this as well. So that was amazing. Yeah,
the kids races, we had a kids race at Alexandra Park on Saturday. There were like 150 of them. That was amazing to see. Yeah.
Amazing. And I think it's so, like, see, for parents that do run or like go to the gym, High Rocks like is another level. No, my husband did it at the beginning of the year, and I went, absolutely not. That actually makes marathon training look easy. Maybe for the vibes with like my friends, like I did say to her, like, this is actually quite a cool environment. Maybe we could get a cute outfit and do it for fun.
Exactly,
no, it's so hard. But anyway, I think when you've got young children, I think, especially nowadays, like, children are locked in on screens, like computer games, phones, tablets, whatever. And I think kids don't go out, obviously, now as much as what we did when we were younger. I don't know how old you are, but like...
I'm 31.
Like, okay, so yeah, I'm 34. So like, we would always be out, like, I'm saying kicking the ball about with a friend, but like...
Yeah, you would be out.
I would be out playing Kirby or something. Yeah. So I think actually, like, when you've got children, I think it's such like I wouldn't have thought this maybe before, but I think now I've realised that it's so important to be able to be that role model for your children, looking after yourself and your health too.
100%.
And I think, especially with running, you're most often than not running outside and getting out in the fresh air. And like, I think I've realised, well, that's something that I really would like to, is, despite not having been out recently much, but in their little eyes, they're like, Mummy's a marathoner, Mummy's a runner. Like, they're unaware. I could be telling them I'm out while they're at school running, but I think them seeing me doing something that was, one, really good for me, and also as well, like the raising money for charity, like running for charity, doing something really good, and doing something hard and pushing boundaries. Is that the saying? No, pushing my limits. Yeah. To go on, do you know, this is hard, but I'm going to do it, because you don't just give up. Like, you, if you set out to do something, for me, if I set out to do something, there's no way I'm not doing it. And I think it's been great for the kids to see that, because they've seen the days that I've come home like in tears because maybe my run didn't go as planned, or they've seen my feet and they've went, oh my goodness, like, I think it's really, really great. As a parent, it's our responsibility to kind of teach our kids to look after themselves. And I really limit screen time with my kids and really try and encourage them to go out and play with their friends and things. And I think if I was sat at home all the time, not doing anything, like kind of with myself, I think, well, they'd be thinking, well, why do you get to sit and watch TV or sit on your phone? Why do we? So I think it's been that role model. And it's not something that pre-marathon that I really thought anything of. But I think because I've seen the positive influence on the kids, it's something I want to continue doing. I want them to see like Daddy working for the High Rocks and seeing how proud the kids were of him completing a High Rocks, and even inspiring them to think, oh, maybe I could do that. Like, I'm not saying everyone needs to get into running, gym, High Rocks, whatever, but just doing something to look after yourself, even walking. Yeah, like going out and 100%. Walking as opposed to taking the car down to the shops. Like, I've been terrible for that over the years. Like, I'll go round the corner, but I'm going to take the car. Well, no, actually, you can just walk. Yeah. Like, so, yeah.
So what did that, back in your peak marathon days, what did a typical Monday to Monday look like for you?
So
how did you fit it in basically with the kids and everything else that's going on?
Yeah, so 3 of my kids are at school.
So you've got, 4 in total?
4 kids.
Wowza.
Yeah, 3 of the kids are at school. One of them typically was starting nursery just the week before the marathon. I do think now, if I were to, or when I run another marathon, it'll be easier because they'll all be in school 9 to 3, can fit in while they're not there at home. But again, my husband was he was at home helping with the kids to let me go out, whether that be, quite often I would do like my gym sessions I would do in the morning.
Yeah, you're doing strength training as well?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Impressive. A lot of people neglect it.
I know. So I actually really enjoy strength training. Yeah. What I struggled with was not being able to push myself with like heavy weights and going, I really like, see the leg press, it's like a little challenge or it was before, like a challenge for me, right? I can go heavier and heavier. And I love that. So I struggled not being able to train like I would have before.
Do you mean that in terms of like the balance of not ruining your legs in the gym and then trying to go a 30k run?
Yes. Yeah. So having to like keep up your strength training but not overdoing it so your legs aren't burnt out for like your long run. And also because of obviously having 4 kids, our life's busy. I work from home or self-employed. My work definitely, I'd say to my manager, like, I want to put my time, like it was probably about a month or 2, I said I really want to put this time into the training. Mm-hmm. That's my priority as opposed to work just now. Had some money aside that would keep ticking us over for where I contribute, but I had to focus on training more so. So I was really lucky that I was, 1, in a position to do so financially, 2, in a position that I could say, well, I'm not going to take on as much work just now because I'm going to focus on this, which I know is such a privilege because I honestly don't know how people do it. Parents especially who have got full-time jobs and have got young children, I don't know how the time they fit it in, whereas I would go to the gym in the morning before my husband would go to work, and then running I'd either do in the evening or I'd do obviously during the week. My husband was off a day a week again, super privileged that he was able to do that because I know many people that's just not, like, I honestly don't know how parents with full-time jobs and young children train for a marathon. I literally can't see how they would do it because there would even be weeks that I go, I can't fit in, I'm going to need to sacrifice that run or sacrifice that gym session. And honestly, like, my training plan was not 100%. Even for 1 week out of the training block, there was always something that I'd have to go, right, I need to miss that because I've got this to do or that to do and whatnot. So yeah, it was a juggle, but again, super privileged that I was able to kind of put work to the side slightly, and I had my husband home more to help kind of be more hands-on at home. So
amazing.
Yeah.
So let's talk about London itself, the actual weekend. Obviously, there's the marathon, which is you've trained so long for, but London as a weekend and as a race is the biggest race on the planet. It's the most impressive thing I've seen. So how was that for you going down there and seeing it all?
Oh, it was incredible. It was honestly such a buzz.
Yeah.
I still think, even to this day, I think that whole term, a wee marathon, I absolutely gaslit myself into thinking, despite it being hard and going, this isn't a wee marathon, I continued to not realise actually what a big deal this was. And I think probably, again, I think that helped because I didn't see it as like my training really, my main goal was crossing the line, didn't care for time. Like I literally was like, I want to go have a good time. And as long as I cross that line, great. But like, and also the main line was my one thing. I went, I don't want to see when, I think, is it past 7 o'clock, they do a different finish spot.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
I didn't know that.
There's a cut-off time for the main
wow, really?
The main finish line, yeah. And then
I just thought there would have been just a cut-off time for everyone.
No. So I think if you don't finish by a certain time, they move the finish line to inside the park as opposed to on the parade.
Okay.
Is that what you call it? Parade?
Yeah, open up the road again.
Yeah, so that was my main thing. I was like, as long as I cross it over there, that's great. But on the run up, so on our way down, so we took the train. My mum and my dad came with us. My brother and sister, they were already down in London, and my husband and our 4 kids came down. I actually was surprised as well with family friends from America who came over and literally surprised us at the hotel we were staying at. They stayed in the same hotel with us and they were there for that weekend. So that was really special as well because they lived in the UK. We grew up with them living next door to us and they were really special people for me going through a hard time when I was a teen. And so to have them there as well was like really lovely. Because, so it was also my husband's first time in London. So I also saw it had, this is so exciting because I love London. I was like, we're going to be able to do all the London touristy things. And then people were like, Aimee, no, you need to rest your legs. Yeah. Somehow, don't know how, the days before I did rest my legs as much as went to the expedition, which was cool, but very overwhelming. And
crazy,
I was quite overstimulated and I found it quite a lot, but it was really cool. But I think I also went in the evening near dinner time, so everyone was a bit hungry and the kids were there and stuff. When I do it again, I'll go myself midday, like without the kids and things. But yeah, it was really cool and it kind of brought a buzz and excitement, seeing other people that are going to be doing it as well and seeing your name on the wall and obviously photo opportunities and things as well was cool. And then my sister and I, we got a hotel the night before, just the 2 of us, closer to, I think it was London Bridge Station, closer to the train station that would get me direct to Greenwich, but also as well to give me the night before without the kids and also the morning of without the kids.
Yeah, that would tell you quite a bit, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so I knew that everyone would be really on a high and excited, and I thought my husband's going to be quite uptight because he's never been to London before, and everyone was splitting up in groups. So like my brother and Kyle, my mum and dad, and my sister and her boyfriend, we split the kids amongst them. But Kyle had our youngest who was not going in a pram, but also was not to be trusted to stay put with him. So I think he actually did amazing. So yeah, I got a hotel the night before because I thought that stress is on you. I don't need to get stressed about that. And I think that did me really well as well because my sister and I she is so organised and I am so not. So she's my younger sister. But she is like, I actually was like, you're like giving Kris Jenner here because you're being like the momager here. Because I was just like, just you tell me where to be, when to be, whatever. And she had a whole itinerary for us in the morning from like, get up, go to the toilet, go down for breakfast, go to the toilet again. She had everything all set out. And I was just like, yep, okay, cool. Just tell me where to go and everything. She took me to the station to get to Greenwich. She lives in London, so she knows her way about. And then getting on the train from London Bridge, whatever, to Greenwich was packed, obviously, with people. And I got on the train. I was like all flustered. I went, am I on the right train? And I kind of looked at me and she went, look around.
Yeah.
Like, you're on the right train. I went, okay, right, thank you. And chatted with these girls, was lovely. And yeah, the morning atmosphere and everything was just brilliant. It was quite chilled, to be honest. It wasn't, I had a late start. I didn't start running until near 11.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it was really late, but I actually think it was actually quite nice because it meant I wasn't too rushed in the morning and have to get up super early and things. I got to really relax a good bit. So that was all amazing. And then the actual run, oh, what a day. Like, it was just the most incredible experience. I didn't know fully what to expect, like how incredible it would be. Everyone talks about, oh my goodness, London is like, the amount of people I'd spoken to, like, how did you get in? I've been trying for 13 years and then I'd be like, literally tried once and I get in. But obviously, like, I gave Maggie's no choice like, other than to accept me. But the day itself was just incredible. And I think as well, I really had it in my head, you're not doing this for time. By then I'd actually raised my target. The £3,000 target that was initially given, I think I was maybe at like 5,000 odd pounds. And so I didn't have pressure to raise any more money. Any extra was a bonus. And it was all about just trying to enjoy the day because all the training, all the blood, sweat and tears came down to that day and that moment, like crossing that line. And I just remember crossing the start line being like, this is amazing. Like, this is so amazing.
I've been at many a start line and you've done months of training, and when the gun goes off and you start running, you think, wow, this is it.
So amazing. Like, obviously, kind of when you're walking, you're quite like, it's it is quite nerve-wracking, and you're looking at all the different waves running and everyone's cheering everyone on. And yeah, it was honestly, as soon as I crossed that start line, I was like in the zone. This is going to be the best day ever. And I really did have such a great day. I think, like, the music, there was all different, like, entertainers and things, mostly, like, people singing and musicians and stuff. And at one point, I can't remember how far in I was, but there was a fire station with a woman singing Proud Mary. I literally had to stop. Didn't stop. I was running on the spot. And I was like, I love this song. And I was, like, singing it. And obviously, I was vlogging it as well. And I actually find, like, see, when I'm, like, using my phone and like, taking content running, one, it distracts my brain from kind of remembering what I'm actually running. This is hard because I'm on the phone and I'm focused on, like, kind of chatting or whatever, but I was just wanting to record the vibes and everything and really take in the vibes, and I totally did that. I really feel like I made the most of, like, the whole atmosphere, and, like, even that, being able to, like, not put pressure onto, like, my favourite song, Proud Mary, not my favourite song, but one of my favourite songs, Proud Mary, came on, like, not thinking, oh, I need to run fast past this. I can actually pause for a moment and enjoy and then keep going. So really, really, like, enjoyed it. And the crowds in London are, obviously I've got nothing to compare to really, other than the Glasgow half. But
the London crowds, I was down there watching my wife doing it, and it is insane. And the most insane thing about it, the whole 42 kilometres is barriered. That you can't actually go into the course. But yeah, you sounded like, my wife came out of it and she loved doing it, but she went for a time and it's complete opposite to what you have described. She actually looks back on it and thinks that was horrendous.
Oh no!
But as much she enjoyed the day and being there and all that, but she put so much time on pressure on herself to get the time. Yeah.
I definitely think that. So for me, I thought on the run up, the weeks before, I'd put a post on through one of my long runs that I'd failed to do. I think it was 30k or 33k, and I stopped at 10k. I was in tears. Everything was against me that day. And because I'd consistently shared my journey, that was part of the journey. Picked up my phone whilst I'm waiting at the side of the road for my husband to come pick me up, and I'm just crying on the phone like, oh my goodness, I don't think I can do this. I've shared that. And obviously, majority of people, so like 99% of people, so supportive, like, this happens and this is so normal, blah, blah, blah. But then there was a few people who, mostly men, few bitter men who were really like, I mean, their comments were, I didn't take to heart, but I did think, you could be sending these comments to somebody out there trying, and that comment could make them quit. Whereas I'm not a quitter. Like, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So I think because of that, that gave me fire to as well go, I'm doing this, but also as well speaking with more people, and I always think people that write negative things, I'm like, why are they writing that?
Yeah,
so I go,
crazy.
do you know what? I actually feel sorry for them because they clearly want to run London. And actually, one of the guys I saw in another post, he commented saying how many years he tried to get into London. And I went, well, that's why you're hating on me, because I'm getting to run London and you think you're better than me. So, but it did make me go, do you know, I need to appreciate this and really make the most of it, because despite finding running hard and thinking, I don't actually love running, like I am so lucky to actually have this opportunity to experience, because I did not realise how difficult it was to get in, and also how many people really would like it's a bucket list thing. So I think that realisation over the last kind of week or so before the race really helped me, because I thought I need to make the most of this and I need to enjoy this, because how lucky am I getting to 100%. Experience this. And so I really did try, like I'm all about the vibes and the music and everything in the crowds, and like there were like obviously like people I like drinking, like it was like a big street party. So then I was vibing with people and they were sitting, I think then when you're vibing with the people cheering you on, they start shouting louder and stuff, and it was like it was brilliant. You must
have had in your head you can't have too much of a good time because you want to cross that proper finish line.
I know. Well, I think probably to start with, I think I did have too much of a good time, because near the end, it was maybe about 7K to go. I had fallen back a lot from where I'd first started, like the wave that I'd started, but that was also because, again, I'd said I'm not time pressured, so every toilet I took a toilet break, whether I needed to or not. In fact, there was one toilet break that I took. I was sat in the toilet, pulled my phone out, instantly pull your phone out, go on Instagram. Go on Instagram, and it's that guy that did the marathon in sub 2 hours. And I was like, get off your phone, get back out there. Like I was sat on the toilet, not needing, but just having a wee break, scrolling, seeing this guy had did it in sub 2 hours. And I don't know where I was at that point, but I was like, Aimee, you're not here. Like, scroll in the toilet running. When you get to the hotel, like, get running. But I definitely, come the end, it was like 6-7K to go. My eyes twitching. The vibes had kind of not disappeared completely, because they were still there, but the crowds definitely had died down a bit, because obviously I'd fallen further and further behind, and you were at the end, and there was I would say it was probably between 7 and maybe 4K to go. That one part was quieter, not dead, like there was still people, but just it wasn't as loud, and also everyone was struggling. So I very much matched energy. So actually, when I look back at a lot of videos, I'm like, oh my goodness, like I was the only one running at points, which, like, no judgment. I walked a lot of it, but I think because I was further behind and I matched people's energy, I then struggled more, because I'm around everyone struggling, which everyone's going to struggle. But I think if I was around people struggling but still running, I'd have still ran and struggled. But at that point, I went, oh no, this is hard. And it must have been about 7K. I'd felt like that. And my husband had sorted out, like, organised voice notes from friends and family. Amazing, if I got to that point, or when I got to that point, to listen to kind of encourage me. So I thought, right, I'm going to listen to them, put them on, and a few voice notes in. There was a voice note from my auntie whose son we lost last year. So my cousin we lost last year to a really short battle with cancer. And as soon as I heard her voice, and as soon as she said, Robin would be so proud of you, I was gone, like completely gone. I burst into tears. And I think at that point it hit me, you're not here for the vibes, Aimee. You're here for the vibes too, but you're not here just for the vibes. Remember why you're doing this. You're running for, like, a charity that support people like you going through cancer, and you're running for the likes of my cousin. He was a runner, and he's not here to run anymore. And for me, it was I didn't sign up to London for fun. I did it for charity and for my mum. And then it ended up being as well for my cousin. And because that sent me emotionally, I was like, because I hadn't cried before, I was like just loving it, having a great time. But emotionally it hit me. And then it was just after that, maybe like 500 metres after, I was like, I think I can hear my youngest Oakley. I think I can hear Oakley. And I'd had points throughout the race. They'd all split up, and I knew where I was meeting people, but I wasn't due to meet like them at this point. But I was like, I can definitely hear Oakley. Turned the corner and I saw him, but I don't actually know whether I did hear him or not because of how you turned the corner and it suddenly was so busy. But as soon as I saw my husband holding Oakley, and I actually can't even remember who else was all around because it was just my son and Kyle, I ran up to them. Kyle just gave me a hug. I was like, that's so hard. Like, I was just gone then. But it was more, it wasn't physically as hard. I don't know how to explain it. Obviously, it would have been physically hard, but it was more at that point emotionally. I then was getting emotional thinking about my cousin and my mum and other people we've lost from cancer and thinking of them. And despite that giving me fire before, like throughout training to keep going, at that point, I found it really hard then. So that was maybe went on for a few kilometres, and then see the last like 2-3k, oh my goodness, the crowds were there. It was like come Big Ben especially, like the place was mobbed. And again, I think because at that point there were so many people walking, but I was really trying to run. I maybe cheated a wee bit because I did know that there was a few camera spots by Big Ben, and I did think at one point, right, I'm going to walk this little stretch and I'm going to start running so I get really good running pictures by Big Ben, which I did manage to get. But the crowds at the end just kept me going. And then at that, see the at the very end, that last stretch, when you see the finish line. Yeah. Oh my goodness, I can't even put into words how like incredible that was. Just blooming did it. Like, I blooming did it. Oh my goodness. Like, the people that must have doubted me doing this, or even myself at the beginning of the journey going, I don't think I can do this. Like, I did it. And it was just crossing that line. You watch people's videos. The year before, I'd been engrossed in watching people's videos because at that point I decided I'm signing up. And watching people's videos was so emotional. But see, actually being the person crossing that line, oh my goodness, it's just... Mm-hmm. Amazing. A mad experience and feeling. It was
well done. I ran it back in 2023, but I'd definitely be doing it again soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, just to kind of finish up, you've got obviously your running journey, which is very impressive, and you've got your social media account. What does the future look like? Are they two going to come together again? You're going to keep going with it, or what does your life look like with your account?
So just after the marathon, my youngest started nursery, and this is the first time in my life I've had literally a solid run now because we're having no more kids for the foreseeable that I will not have a little kid attached to me. And I used to always think...
You've obviously had that for so long.
I've had it for so long. For over 10 years, I've literally bar a few months when my daughter had went to school, but I was pregnant, we were moving house, it was Christmas time, it was busy. But I've always had a little one with me, and I've always felt like that was my sole purpose in life. I've always wanted to be a mum, and like without being mum and having a kid attached to me, like, well, what's my purpose now? And not gonna lie, I don't know still. And I think it's very much like, so with social media, like we've kind of like we're starting a new chapter, so the social mum is behind because also I'm not as sociable as what I once was. Like, I think throughout COVID I also became like I just enjoy being at home with my friends and family. Do like going out every so often, but not like when I first started my account. And also I don't want it to be primarily based around being a mum, because I think there's more to me than being a mum, and running is definitely something I do want to keep doing. Or start back up again, probably more so I should say start back up again. Obviously I've got this half marathon. I'd love to do the Barcelona half marathon. I'd love to do Sydney marathon, simply to get to Australia.
I've got my eyes on that as well.
Like, not because, obviously now it's one of I think there's 7 now, not because of that, but it's more so for being able to go, and I've got loads of family over there. And London I would love to do again, but I'd love to do London again, and the next time really go for a time, but also try not put the pressure on, like your wife's put pressure on to the point she's not enjoyed it. I don't think, for me, I don't ever want to not be enjoy. I wouldn't do something if I'm not going to enjoy it now, unless I was doing it for charity. And I've said to Maggie's I would love to run for them again, but a different challenge from couch to marathon. The next time would be like not as many toilet scrolling Instagram breaks, like, and actually really trying to go more so for like a time and just kind of push myself again. Because I think what I've learned over this journey is like I've never been athletic really. I've never like I've classed myself as being lazy. I'd always drive as opposed to walking or whatever. And I think now I've learned that I can run, might not always enjoy it, but I can run, and also I can do something that I find hard. Like I usually, if I find something hard, would give up and I'd quit, whereas I couldn't with this because I was doing it for something bigger than me. So I'd love to be able to get back to the running and be able to also do it for me as well.
100%.
So that's, so I don't actually know as such. I'm just finding myself now and finding who I am without the kids and being mum, and running will definitely be. I've actually got an idea of a series that I was going to start, but this weather's had me like not able to go out. I think because the running thing, the wee marathon phrase, actually one of the volunteers on the marathon track who was giving it, like I said, a complete stranger to me, she shouted, "Remember, it's just a wee marathon." And that really sparked me because I'm like, oh my goodness, and the amount of people that I actually met on the course that kind of like came and said hi because they've seen my journey online. And so although running a marathon is huge, like I think so often as well people in their heads like build up something to be so much bigger and harder than what actually it is. And I think the likes of London, like I obviously did enjoy it because I didn't put the pressure and make this, I need to get a time, because I was like, I'm just running and I'm it's an experience. And so the wee marathon thing, I think I've thought, I could start a wee running series or something, a wee running series, and I'll just go for a wee running series, because really it's just running. Like
exactly.
it's
there's so much you can do with it though. 100%. Amazing. Well, I think that's us. Thank you very, very much. I hope
thank you for
the
having
first
me.
Episode was as what I was imagined to be. So
thank you for having me. I feel very honoured to be your first guest. Thank you.